directory from the definitions, because the active vendor directory is inclusive of that information. Request for proposal, responsive bidder or offer, significant business presence. Those were all items that were being made in order to be in alignment with the procurement code. And we made sure that we included sub-consultant to the definition of subcontractor, and system was added to vendor self-service. Alrighty, so in section 6 of administrative reforms, we did some cleanup, because when we first had our ordinance to be released, there were work groups that were established in order to get us to a fully operational point. So those work groups, we just removed any information, any reference to work groups. And then we also talked about the procedures of evaluating the short list and selection committee procedures. And so, you know, what will happen is from time to time, the OEBO, in collaboration with with facilities development and operations and other construction departments, will take a look at the committee procedures to see if there's something that we can do to enhance the process and to make sure that we are not creating additional barriers that prevent our SMWBEs from being successful when they are soliciting and going before the selection committee. Are there any questions about that? Okay, I have a few more slides. We added sub-consultant to prior approval, and this is under the administrative reform. And then we did a revision to staff training and what the staff training will include. And so the Office of Equal Business Opportunity staff training will be provided both internally to our internal stakeholders, which are our county departments, as well as our external stakeholders on the program, the intent of the program, the ordinance. We will go through how to file a complaint of an alleged violation of the ordinance. We'll talk about the reporting system. We'll talk about what trainings are offered for our SMWBEs to assist them. So we want to be able to, for instance, provide you with an opportunity to learn how to do business with Palm Beach County if you've never done business with us. We'll bring in our procurement director, not the director, but the procurement department, to talk about responsiveness to their solicitation. Because the purchasing department typically handles all goods and or services, and then we have the construction departments that deal specifically with the construction. Our procurement and our affirmative procurement initiatives, those are our APIs and or what we call our goals. We just added procurement to mirror the procurement code revision. We did increase the dollar value of SBE sheltered markets to revise the changes that are in the procurement code. So prior to the enactment of the procurement code's revisions, our sheltered market dollar value was set at $100,000. It is now at $150,000. However, the state of Florida, in its last session, put in a mandate where we cannot have geographically based projects when they revise the code or the statutes to talk about how business is to be done throughout the counties, to ensure that we are not just coveting, if you will, opportunities for local SMWBEs. They wanted us to open it up to a broader spectrum. And so therefore, although the sheltered market is still there, because we don't know if anything will come out of the new session coming up, whether or not they will change it and the provision for sheltering will be permitted again. But we wanted to make sure that we had it in place in the event that permission is granted. We removed graduation and graduated in prime contractor substitution, and we added expired for the type of certification status. Because one of the things that we do know is that before you can substitute a business on a county contract where there's SMWBE participation, there has to be a request to this office and it has to be granted before substitution could be done. And so we wanted to make sure that we removed graduation and graduate out of there, because there was a provision in the ordinance revisions that took place in March to allow a business that graduate the program, meaning they have exceeded the size standards, they get to continue on the contract until the contract term has ended. So we wanted to just make sure that we clean that up. We also, which we are super excited about, we revised the SBE Mentor Protege program, which I mentioned earlier. It was a pilot program, and so it is now being made a permanent part of our ordinance, and wanted to just make sure that individuals understood that the SMBE Mentor Protege program is also known as the CM at Risk program, and we then refer you back to our PPM for detailed instructions on how to take advantage of that particular evaluation. We revised SBE price preference. There was IE in there instead EG per attorney's office. The only change made to the SBE preference, and then for construction industry, race and gender conscious, we were just cleaning up the language for the aspirational goals. Those are goals that were set when the program went into effect in 2019, and it was just based on what the consultants did some cleanup around that. And then we removed again that graduation and added prior to contractor request for reduction of contract scope. We added language on the MBE program. I stated it all inclusively on the previous slide, but we did the same thing for MWE Mentor Protege, the MBE evaluation preference to add language. I have just a few more. Are there any questions at all? Nabwic.
Good morning. I'm Jack Fields.
Deborah.
How are you? Thank you
well.
very much. Yeah, it does have any statistical information as to the number of minorities in different categories that were participating in the program and that were into consideration during these revisions? So that are work itself out. We're looking at the numbers of the legislation and knowing that
looking at the legislation, knowing that it has changed, but we've been active in a database of the number of minority women, women business enterprises. We have that regularly.
Have they been faring well, the minorities and women? How are their numbers? Can you tell right off?
Well, I can tell you, I tell you that numbers have not been as high as would have. It deals with availability, responsiveness, that kind of thing. We look at, when we're setting our down here, we are looking at for those with the specific commodity codes for the solicitation that we are letting, to make sure that any vendor that is available, ready, willing, and available to respond.
Are they responding? Is what we're having an issue in this area where sometimes the individuals appear on the directory, and for some reason they're not responding to the level that the office, because of the numbers, and I'm trying to clear that up as to why they are not responding when there is what we think is available opportunity for them to participate. So to kind of look at as to, not to convey what you're doing, but to just kind of let you all know that there's a gap. There is some confusion. It appears sometimes we found that people are putting wrong codes. They're not familiar with the commodity codes as they are with the next codes, and sometimes with definitions, your commodities, the product codes kind of, conflict with what we normally think. So, that's a lot, but sometimes the local response, I think, with maybe sometimes we need to change how we train the deals we go in to make sure that we are putting the right commodity that we know and understand, so that you won't say that, hey, we have an available pool here, but then these people really aren't responding at the level that we thought they would.
Let me tell you something. This is music to my ears, because we are challenged. When I tell you that we are challenged, we have the very same issue that you are expressing. And I would like to talk to you to further discuss any mandates or any opportunities that you are in. You said Jacksonville, correct?
Jacksonville, right.
Right. So I'd like to talk to you further, because that is the biggest challenge that we have. We do a considerable amount of outreach in order to share the information and to provide information on how to select the right commodity codes, how to be responsive, how to share information on your company with the key decision makers. I mean, we have a countywide matchmaker conference, and in all of that, the responsiveness is the challenge.
Okay, and then the last thing is again, a lot of us put the commodity code that is listed for the county, and then we're subcontractors, so it's hard to make the determination when we go into building connecting or whatever to pick up if they don't outline what the subject matter is, to again align what we do and the construction category with what that prime contractor is looking for the participation. So,
no, you are absolutely correct. And one of the things that we do when we are certifying our small minority women business enterprises, we tell them, tell us everything that you do. Now, naturally, so I'll give you an example. So for general contractors, there is no code specifically for general contracting.
Right. So that's exactly right.
So we ask, what are the primary services that you provide? So if you have several trades that you can, several issues of work,
right?
Put it all in there, right? And then what we also do is we have a goal setting committee meeting the first and third Wednesday of every month. And so the departments, when they have their solicitations, they have to list within their goal setting worksheet all of the trades and any work that they need. And so this, in my mind, we use this as it gives you the advanced opportunity before a solicitation ever hits the street to know what services they are looking to have, right? So even if you are going to sub consult on a project, all of that information is going to be in that goal setting worksheet. And those commodity codes are going to be listed. And so once you certify with us and we've gone through all of the things, all of the services and or goods that you provide, those commodity codes are going to show up in your profile. And that's how you get the notification of the solicitation from us here. And so if you are finding that you are not getting, I typically have told, because I sat in the seat of a specialist, right? So I would tell my clients, hey, let's look at it head on, but let's look at it from one off, so that you can be sure to include as many commodity codes so that you will get the notification and you will understand what's out there. But as the Office of Equal Business Opportunity advocates for small businesses, each certified small business is assigned a small business development specialist in perpetuity. As long as they are certified with us, they keep it for consistency, for development of relationship and understanding the process. So, Ms. Thomas, may I just have your number really quickly, because I know you all are on a time frame.
904-472-7528. And I'd love to talk with you. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well.
One more time, 904-472
7528, because we're in the midst of comparing our 2023 disparity study report with the 2013. And just wanted to see if we can clear that stuff up, because another thing is that our school board district uses a different certification from our city and its independent authorities, because the school board also is kind of a quasi type of entity that has to respond to the state and its commodity codes. So thank you so very much for that.
My pleasure. Good morning, Ms. McNeil.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so very much, Ms. Tanya Davis Johnson. I just wanted to just give Ms. Deborah K. Thompson her due. She is our president emeritus. And so just so when you meet with her, you can already tell from her question, I tout oftentimes when I'm talking to people how long I've been in this business. I will just tell you, she's been doing this longer than I have.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. So she's a young lady, needless to say, but we are your advocate. And then we're going to turn it back over to our president, Ms. Henry. But I would really want to make sure you know that for the National Association of Black Women in Construction, and Tanya, right now we are representing about 20 cities across the U.S., but we're your advocate, and we'll have a conversation off this call because we want to make sure we make this information available to everybody. But we're your advocate, and I keep saying that because there are some things that we can do that your office cannot do. And it centers around providing supportive services, because there's only but so much your staff is going to be able to do. But when we can strategically help you as you help us, then I think that a lot of these questions and this program will begin to see a small tick upward over a long period of time. Thank you so very much. And I'll go back on mute.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So finally, we just went through some program administration. We clarified some program type and duties and responsibilities of the OEBO certification, eligibility. And, we just wanted to make sure that our stakeholders were aware of what the revisions were and how they would impact. We did more so a lot of, as I said, cleanup. There were no substantive changes, substantive changes that altered the ordinance or the program in and of itself. So I thank you all for the time. Ms. Henry, thank you so much for allowing me to present. And Ms. Thompson, I'm looking forward to speaking with you further. But do know, ladies, and I'll put my contact information in the chat for you so that you can reach out if you have any questions regarding the programs and or services that are offered by the Office of Equal Business Opportunity. And I am so grateful to have you all as advocates on behalf of the Office of Equal Business Opportunity. And please know that we are here to support you in any way that we can on any solicitations or any information that you need in doing business with Palm Beach County. So thank you again. And let me just say happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you all.
Same to you as well. Thank you so much for your time and for your advocacy and for continuing to be diligent in your approach to seek feedback from members of the community that are represented here today. So just want to thank you for that. I did do an email connection between yourself and Ms. Deborah Thompson, making sure both of you have each other's phone numbers and emails. And then Ms. Deborah, you have the original ordinance language as well as the red line language and the recommended updates for your discussion. Do we have any other questions or comments? Don't be shy. Even if you're not in Florida, the same way that Ms. Deborah was able to connect, and they may be able to share some information that will support one another with their respective ordinances. These are opportunities to learn more and ask more questions within your area or region pertaining to any similar ordinances, or if you are advocating for such ordinances, because Ms. Deborah did mention the disparity study. And so we do have a an online training session, educational session that's available on demand that pertains to disparity studies and how those can support programs such as this. And Madam Chair, I see you have a hand up.
Yes, I wanted to just commend Tanya's office on the meeting that they have on Wednesdays, and we traditionally, are there to represent the organization. But if we could put that information in the chat, because I really want to encourage everybody to sit in on those meetings and learn more about how the process works, because oftentimes by the time this work comes out for bid, it's too late. And we don't have that conversation. And so this is public information. So for those of you that's on, whether or not you're from Miami or wherever you're from, please, we can put that information in the chat, either Tanya or Talene, so that our members can put it on their calendar to begin to participate, to sit in and listen in. I think you would learn so much more about the process, because the process that Palm Beach County uses, Dade County uses the same process. We have a representative there on that board. Broward County uses the same process. We have a representative there on that board. And when our members begin to be more educated about the business of construction, I think that we'll do a better business. So if one of you or somebody can please put that in the chat, would be great. Thank you.
Excellent. So that link is in the chat, and I encourage you all. The goal setting meeting is every other Wednesday.
First and third.
Okay, my apologies. The first and third Wednesday. And it's best to grab that information directly from the calendar on the Oebo website. So I did drop that link in there for December 4th. And those meetings again are 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. First and third Wednesday. Any other questions, comments, or announcements? All right, well, I would like to thank you again, Tanya, and I would like to thank all of our members for participating, and we look forward to hearing from you. So those documents are linked in the agenda, which was shared in our national general WhatsApp thread. So if you click on that document, you will be able to access the ordinance. And if you have any questions or comments, let us know. I'll make sure that Tanya's information is included on that meeting agenda. I'm going to add it so that if anyone wants to reach out to her, they can. At this time, I would like to
just one last question. Are those meetings by Zoom as well, or are they just in person only?
WebEx. They're available in person and via WebEx. And information is in the meeting invite. Also, there is a construction technology event coming up, and it is on December 6th in Miami Gardens. And so Nabwic Construction and Technology event, we are going to have an event at the Oasis at Miami Gardens. And it will feature a dynamic lineup of keynote speakers, panel discussions, and networking opportunities to highlight the intersection of construction and technology and the growing role and impact on small businesses. We'll explore cutting-edge innovations, share insights from emerging trends, and foster discussions around small businesses, challenges, and opportunities. So again, that link is in the chat for Eventbrite, and we encourage you to please register and attend. Thank you for that. All right. I would like to request a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Ann McNeil, second. Thank you.
Oh, these numbers are not phone numbers.
Right.
Uh,